Today, we're going to crack open one of the biggest parts of the Portuguese language, regular verbs that end in er. And our key is the verb esconder, which means to hide. Seriously, by the end of this, you'll see how understanding this one verb unlocks the pattern for thousands of others. Let's jump right in.
And no, that's not an exaggeration. The pattern we're about to break down is an incredible shortcut. When you really master just one of these verbs, you're basically learning the blueprint for a whole family of them. So think of this less like a dry grammar lesson and more like you're about to gain a linguistic superpower.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the core blueprint itself. Then we'll see how it works when you're hiding in the present, the past, and the future. We'll even figure out who is doing the hiding, and finally, we'll make sure that new verb superpower of yours is locked in for good. All right, let's start with the blueprint. The main thing you need to get is that every single regular ER verb in Portuguese follows the exact same playbook. Once you see the pattern for one, you can just rinse and repeat for all of them. Now, the official grammar term for these is the second conjugation. But honestly, it's way easier to just think of them as a big family. They all share the same DNA, which means they use the exact same set of endings. And for anyone learning the language, this is a huge, huge win. It makes things so much more efficient.
So here it is, the secret formula in action. We take our verb, esconder. If we just lop off that er ending, we're left with what's called the stem, escond. Now, that part is our rock. It never ever changes. All the magic happens in the ending you stick on it, which tells you who is doing the hiding and when they're doing it. This simple little formula, it's the key to everything else.
Okay, enough theory. Let's see this thing in action. We'll start with the present tense, talking about stuff happening right here, right now. Let's see how our stem, escond, plays out in the present.
This is what we call the indicative present. You use it for definite factual actions. See that? The stem escond stays exactly the same every single time. The only thing that changes is the ending. O-S-E-M-O-S-M. So, eu escondo is I hide. Nos escondemos is we hide. Is this super predictable pattern for each pronoun that makes the system so powerful.
But what if the action isn't a sure thing? For things like doubts, wishes, or possibilities, we switch to the subjunctive present. Just think of it as the maybe tense. To show this uncertainty, the endings flip to a, s, a, amos, an. The stem is still our good old esconda, but these new endings totally change the mood. For instance, espero que yo esconda. I hope that I hide.
So there you have it. This is our foundation. These simple present tense forms, whether they're facts or just possibilities, they show us the core logic. It's always just the stem plus a specific ending for each person and mood. Once this clicks in your brain, you'll find all the other tenses start to feel a whole lot easier.
Okay, let's take a little trip back in time. Portuguese has a couple of different ways to talk about the past, and picking the right one really just depends on the kind of story you're telling.
First up, we have the pretérito perfeito, or simple past. This is your go-to for actions that happened once and are completely, totally done. Yesterday, I hid the keys. Eu escondi as chaves. It's a single finished event. And hey, just look at those endings. E, este, eu, hemos, eram. Same reliable system, just a different set of endings.
Now meet the imperfect. This tense is for actions that were ongoing or happened all the time in the past. It's for what you used to do or what was happening. Like when I was a kid, I always used to hide. Eu sempre escondia. It wasn't just a one-time thing, it was a habit. And the endings here, beautifully consistent. Ia, ias, ia, iamos, iam.
Okay, this slide is really key to getting it right. Eu escondi is like a snapshot, a single finished moment in time. But eu escondia is more like a movie of a past habit or a scene that was in progress. Nailing this difference is going to make your Portuguese sound so much more natural.
All right, time to look forward. How do we talk about what will happen, or maybe what could happen? Well, that brings us to the future and conditional tenses.
The simple future is for stuff that is definitely going to happen. Tomorrow, I will hide. Amanhã eu esconderei. Now, what's really cool here is that the endings actually get attached to the entire verb, esconder. So you literally get esconder plus a, as, a, and so on. It's a super clear and logical setup. And then we have the conditional. This is your would tense, perfect for hypothetical situations. If I had a reason, I would hide. Eu esconderia. And just like the future tense, these endings tack right onto the full verb, with that same awesome consistency. Ia, ies, ia, iemos, iam.
So up to this point, we've only focused on someone actively doing the hiding. But what if that person is being hidden? Or what if they're hiding themselves? This is where we get to change the voice of the verb to shift the whole perspective.
We can really see this shift in 3 different voices. In the active voice, you're the one doing the action. Eu escondo, I hide. In the passive voice, the action is done to you. Eu sou escondido, I am hidden. And in the reflexive voice, you do the action to yourself. Eu escondo-me, I hide myself. It's all about perspective, all built from the same core verb.
Okay, time to bring it all home. You've seen the patterns, you've seen the tenses, you've even seen the different voices. You have officially unlocked the code.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that this whole system, this simple logic of a stem plus a predictable ending, it doesn't just work for esconder. Nope, you now have the blueprint for so many other common verbs, like vender, to sell, comer, to eat, and aprender, to learn. The exact same rules apply to all of them.
So you now hold the blueprint. You've seen how just one little verb can reveal the inner workings of thousands of others. The only real question left is, what are you going to do with this new superpower? Which verb will you conquer next?